Today, I would like to start off my lecture with a simple exercise. So if you wouldn't mind, could you please close your eyes? Now, imagine yourself in a deep, lucid dream where you're driving smoothly along a long interstate road leading in and out. And then all of a sudden, the road in front of you becomes extremely blurry. In fact, this blurriness is so extreme that you can no longer detect the turns in the road. After a while, you feel the car slowly drifting off its path. And at first you go into panic mode, but then a pacifying relaxation comes over you. You realize that you're in a dream, and soon you wake to the comfort of your bed. However, when you wake to a bright hospital light, almost blinding. There's a heart rate monitor strapped to your arm. Your leg is in a cast. Your family's weeping to you on the bedside. And you realize, oh wait, there never really was a dream. It was all reality. Now, obviously, this is a hypothetical example, but nonetheless, it is an example of a sleep disorder symptom. In this case, blurriness. And in addition to that, more common symptoms include fatigue, lack of motivation, and general tiredness. And this can deeply damage individuals both mentally and physically. To give a statistic, according to a study done by the Johns Hopkins University, 1 hour lost in sleep in the average adult is equivalent to a 14 to 15% increase in mortality rate. And this is for projected mortality for the next 10 years. So pretty significant. Now to preview my main points for this speech, I will first discuss some of the myths and debunk that with some reality facts. Then I will talk about how sleep deprivation can lead to chronic health disorders and accommodate that with some statistics. And lastly, I'll get into my last point, which I call zombie mode, and I'll get into that later. So, starting off with the myths. Myth 1, some may believe, oh, sleep deprivation is not that common, this isn't relevant to me, so it's not a relevant speech. However, I'm sure many of you guys can relate to this. Like, about 1/3 of the US population, according to CDC data, is sleep deficient. And approximately half of those individuals experience some form of a chronic sleep disorder. So a large population is relevant to this statistic. Now, myth 2. Some may believe, oh, if I lose an hour of sleep here, I can always make it up later, but in reality, there's a concept called sleep debt. And sleep isn't the same as work in the sense that, oh, if you miss 1 hour of work, you can work overtime or make it up next week. No, this isn't the case. In fact, it takes longer to recover that sleep. So to back that up, according to a study by Dr. Sudhir Kumar, 1 hour, just 1 hour of sleep takes nearly 4 days to recover. So that's why it's important not to fall in sleep debt. Now, myth 3, some may argue, oh, if I just cut off some of my sleep time and put that into my goals, my career, I'll be more productive. However, in the long run, and it's important after you do this consistently, in the long run, your productive ceiling decreases. So meaning after you sacrifice sleep several days in a row, become sleep deprived, your productive ceiling caps. And after a while, you basically lose, you get more bang for your money if you just incorporate more sleep as you be more productive in those hours, and it'll contribute to more output. Now that I cleared up some of the misconceptions, I'll talk about how sleep deprivation can lead to chronic health disorders. So I have a bar chart here, and this compares the impact of sleep deprivation and no exercise on certain health disorders. So sleep is your body's #1 priority in terms of health and recovery. It's your way to strengthen your immune system, increase metabolic activity, and brain function. And we hear all the time in the news how exercise can be a contributing factor to this and boost your health, lose weight, all that. But we don't really hear too much about sleep. Now, when we compare the data, a big topic about no exercising is it'll lead to diabetes. Now, in fact, if we look at here, sleep deprivation is nearly threefold, while no exercise is only 110% increase in this. And some of the other statistics, depression, colon cancer, and heart disease, sleep comes in top. So sleep is vital to your health and it should be prioritized. Now that I included some statistics on health disorders, I'll talk about zombie mode. So zombie mode, it's not just science fiction, it's reality. This on the top is a healthy individual. Here, this is what 6 hours a few nights in a row would get. Now, you don't want to be this. You got blurred vision, red eye. I mean, just from like a physical standpoint, you can tell that she's kind of detached. She doesn't look like she has a lot of energy, so not very productive. And with that, sleep deprivation can really hinder your goals. So, and this lack of motivation carried out through not weeks, not months, like years of doing this for some individuals. Like chronic sleep deprivation can damage the individual's goals and life experiences significantly. Think about that ideal job, never achieved. Think about that business plan, never started. Think about that dream person, your ideal person to become. It's never realized. You know why? Because it's buried beneath years of burnout and detachment. So that lack of motivation and drive, your purpose, is damaged from sleep deprivation. So it's important that you prioritize your sleep. Now, I like to end my speech with a pledge. So who here will solemnly promise to get at least 8 hours of sleep every day for the rest of their lives? None of you should have your hand up. This is an unrealistic goal, and even I don't have my hand up. So the important is to stay consistent. So now, after today's lecture, how many here will make an honest and sincere attempt to prioritize their sleep and try to stay consistent? All right, thank you very much.